Good evening, my name is Garrett, and welcome to The Last Call. Tonight's final drink is from Penelope Bourbon. This is Rio, coming in at a 49% ABV, at least 4 years old. Now, Penelope Rio released here in 2023, and for the most part has been a huge success, from at least from a review standpoint. A lot of people are really enjoying this bottle, and there's quite a process here. So more recently here in Indiana, we've gotten a lot of the Penelope showing up on our shelves, which is fantastic. And I've been buying them up like crazy because they are really great stuff. Now, Penelope does source from MGP, and they're pretty transparent on that kind of stuff. This one's interesting because not only is a blend of 3 different bourbon mash bills, but it's a 4-grain mash bill, and then finished for up to 2 years in 2 unique casks. And they tell us what this mash bill is on this 4-grain blend, consisting of 74% corn, 14% wheat, 9% rye, and 5% malted barley. And again, for up to 2 years in not only a honey cask, but Ambriana cask as well, which, if you don't know about Ambriana wood, it's an imported item coming from South America, and it is a high impact, very dense wood. And we're starting to see a lot of whiskeys experiment with it here in 2023. In my experiences so far, I really love what Ambriana does. It just adds this huge depth of spice and unique nuances. And on top of that, it doesn't take a long time to impact those flavors into a spirit. But I'm really excited to see how Rio does. So let's go ahead and jump into things. As always, we're gonna be trying it 2 different ways. First way, neat, no ice, no water. Second way, we'll add just a drop of water, see if anything changes up. And as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hang around for a bit. If you're interested in some other reviews of Penelope, those will be linked up above and down below, so you can check those out, along with a link to their website where you can go and do some research on your own. But yeah, the nice thing is, here in Indiana, we're starting to see they got the whole core lineup. The only ones I haven't seen yet is like the Takachi cask and the Rosé cask, but I'm going to assume they'll probably be down the pipeline on those. Who knows? Beautiful dark color on that. And even though it's only 4 years old, it could be up to 6 years. On their website, they tell us it's between 4 and 6 years old. But going by the lowest common number there, 4 years old. All right, let's go for notes. Oh, the Ambriana. Oh, that is gorgeous. So, I've been fortunate enough again to try a few things done up in Ambriana wood. And the note that it brings across for me is a sweet cinnamon sugar. Oh, beautiful spiciness in there. Got a nice corn sweetness. And that honey cask is playing in there a little bit. You get this dark, rich honey note. It would be almost like if you had cinnamon sugar over pancakes and then you drizzled a little bit of honey over the top instead of like a deep, rich maple syrup. No ABV, nothing harsh, no off notes on the nose. The sweet cinnamon for me is almost like the Mexican big sticks of cinnamon you can get where you grate. So it's a little sweet, and the vanilla notes that you're pulling out of here is like Madagascar vanilla bean paste. Not like a vanilla extract, like a very rich and dark vanilla bean paste. That is just, I mean, if you'd call this a breakfast whiskey, for me, this is like, yeah, that's a fancy breakfast. It's just so sweet, but spicy, and just, I'm a big cinnamon fan, so when I find those notes, I really love it. But being that it's well-rounded and all that, nothing is necessarily, it's not like a high impact of that Ambriana that it's going to overtake on the nose, nor is the honey. And honey can be very touchy. You have to be very selective in how you're doing a honey cask because it doesn't take a long time, or if it's too wet. I've noticed that some barrels, like with the Nulu, just become like super honey forward. And not that there's a problem with that, but if you're not a big honey fan, it may be a little overpowering for some people. And maybe a little bit of ginger or gingerbread? Yeah, just a little bit in there. I like that nose. All right, let's go for a taste. Oh, that plays so well. The palate is sweet. Cinnamons and sugars. but the raw dark honey is in there too. You actually get, even though it's a low percentage of a rye, you get a good amount of spice from the rye as well. And it just keeps going with beautiful, dark, rich oak notes. It's rich and velvety and just so complex. And again, I've had both barrels separately, and you can pick out what they're doing well on their own, but together, that is unlike anything I've ever tasted. Let's see if we can walk through the steps here on this one. Wow. So right up front, you're getting that beautiful sweet cinnamon spices going on, almost like breakfast. Deep, rich oak notes. Then this dark honey richness comes through as well. And it just, the spice builds and builds. And it just does such a good job with that. And just keeps getting a little more rich. And again, for me, it's almost velvety like. It just coats the palate so well. That is a grand example of using both casks in such a way that keeps it sweet and inviting, but yet such a depth of rich flavor. Back for another sip here. It's crazy because I was expecting maybe one of them to be a little more potent than the other, but they play together so well, you don't notice it. And again, I've had like the Nulu Ambriana and I love it, but it's potent. And I've had Nulu Honey Cask and it's potent. So the fact that they're able to get both of those flavors to balance so well in this is a keen palate, and that's great. All right, let's add a little drop of water. See what changes up here. I have no idea what to expect on this because I don't even know. Maybe a little more sweet? Always like to do just a little drop of water, see what changes up on these, just because if you're new to whiskey, you might be wanting to add a little bit of water if it's too much of a certain flavor. Sometimes it helps balance things out for a newcomer, or if that's just what you like, it's what you like. And as always, it doesn't matter what you drink or how you drink it, as long as you enjoy it. Let's go for notes on the water version. Very similar. It goes a little more, and the best way to put it is it kind of drowns out and gets a little more mute overall. I'd say it drops about 20 to 30%. It's not as pungent. You don't get quite as hefty cinnamon sugar or the dark rich honeys or anything like that. It just goes a little more simple overall. And not that that's a bad thing, but you are missing out how rich the neat version is. But overall, there's nothing off, no ABV, no metallic notes. Just a nice, simple cutback version so far. Let's go for a taste. Yeah, that's actually pretty nice too. The flavors aren't as clinging, and that's kind of expected. We're breaking up some of those oils, so it doesn't quite linger as well on the palate. What I will say is that you still get a pretty well-rounded taste. You still get the cinnamon sugar sweetness, you get that bit of vanilla bean paste in there. You're kind of missing out maybe a little bit on that gingerbread note that I was picking up. And you do get a little bit of the honey. It's not as strong in any of those flavors. I think it mimics the nose pretty close. I'd say if you cut down the complexity and richness of this by about 20 to 30%, it equals about the same as the water version. That just makes you smile. As soon as you take a drink of that, it makes you smile. That is a really good sip. But this ain't half bad. And if you're not into sweet whiskeys, that little drop of water does tame things back a little bit, but you're still getting most of the flavor in there. If anything, again, probably about 20 to 30% cut back. But the neat version, this is where it's all at. And this is gorgeous. All right, let's talk about market price, because we all know market price is market price, and it's always going to vary. So originally, this released at about $80. And to be honest, this is a steal at 80 bucks. This is a great, great bottle. Now, the secondary market is actually pricing this to $300 plus, unfortunately. And when you look at secondary pricing on these, I never think anything's really worth that. But I'll say this, I would comfortably pay up to $100 without much of a blink for this bottle. I look at something like the Nulu Ambriana finished, and I paid $110 for it. And I think that the combination of that honey plus the Ambriana here does such a great job. So I wouldn't blink. Yeah, $100. I did. Yeah, sure, give me that. I'll buy it. And again, I'm going to give Penelope credit, taking 2 barrels of very high impact that if you're not careful, can really overtake a whiskey and come up with this beautiful blend. It's phenomenal. If you get the opportunity to try it, do it. But if you see this on the shelf for $100-ish, grab it. I think it's a great bottle. And if you're a fan of Penelope, this is going to feel right at home with their beautiful blending process. And again, if you're interested in Penelope and the kind of things they're doing and offering, a link to their website will be down in the description area below. Go show them some love. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Penelope Bourbon Rio. If you have any questions about the bottle itself, let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any specific spirit I should go looking for, also let me know down below. Love doing these reviews and sharing with you the experience at home. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.
You know, and I really like it might